hold of this really awesome Bigfoot belt buckle from the late 70s.
Oh.
It's just one of a kind. It's old world craftsmanship. It's just completely amazing. And I haven't even really wanted to wear it yet. I kind of just have it on my little personal shrine at home or something.
Yeah, I'll bet. And was this a belt buckle with a full figure of a Sasquatch, or was this the head of a Bigfoot, or what did it look like?
Full-bodied Sasquatch just making his way through the forest.
Nice. Oh.
Given that little coy head tilt that Patty does in the famous Patterson-Gimlin film.
Oh, yes. Yeah, someone must have done their research on that, for sure. Well, that is something that you would have gone nuts over when you saw this, I would imagine. Was this like in a thrift shop, or how did you find it?
I found it in a vintage clothing store in Portland, actually.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, my good friend Sean Partridge clued me in to its existence. Sean Partridge, that's an interesting guy. He actually runs this cult that worships the Partridge family.
Oh, and
family temple, and he always is on the lookout for me for interesting things.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, let me ask you this. Sean Partridge, did he change his name because of the organization that he's in, or was his name always the Partridge last name?
No, once he had his religious epiphany and learned that all the secrets of the universe could be gleaned from listening to Partridge Family Records and watching their television show, he took on the name Partridge.
Yeah. And Sean, it's perfect. This guy sounds like an interesting fella.
Yeah, he has his moments.
Okay. Yeah, and so tell us about, there was a lunchbox that you ran across that I was just drooling over. What was that again?
Oh, yeah, that was a vintage Close Encounters of the Third Kind metal lunchbox that I got at some amazing antique store in Tacoma, Washington earlier this week.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a classic. It's got some of the scenes of the movie on there. It's in relatively good shape. It's been dinged up on the corners and stuff with a lot of wear, but that is, like you said, a classic item to keep in your shrine as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I just get ecstatic when I find one-of-a-kind items like that. I virtually live inside of a museum.
Yes, you do. I would imagine that you're going to have to move at one point to some kind of a very old and creepy house that's much bigger, that you can display some of these things and have a tour through this place, because I would think people would pay to see the things you have.
The thought has occurred to me. Yeah, and I've seen other people open up their homes to show their own collections, and I've always just been very impressed with people who've been able to handle that and have been able to curate their own passions in that way and share it with the rest of the world.
Yes. Yeah, you find out when you do those kinds of things, there's a whole lot of people that are still interested in the same things you are. So that's fascinating stuff. Well, listen, what's going on here in the wintertime? Obviously, as we get close to Christmas, there are still weird and wonderful things going on, but people get a little busy, and I know that you might even be wanting to take some time off of yourself. But what's up next for Pacific North Weird?
Well, for the foreseeable future, into early next year, I'm basically in editing mode. I've done a whole lot of traveling, filming, all kinds of asset gathering for my show this past year. So I'm working on basically 9 or 10 separate episodes, including Squirrel Fest, which we talked about. I think I reported from to you some months ago. That will be coming out soon.
You reported live from the Squirrel Fest itself, and where was that located again?
Longview, Washington.
There you go. Yeah, I can't wait to see that video. these folks actually built a squirrel bridge across one of the major streets to make sure the squirrels weren't hurt. I understood. That was just really amazing.
Yeah, the first squirrel bridge in the world. It was in Ripley's, believe it or not. And now they have 8 squirrel bridges.
Oh, my goodness. That's wonderful. Okay, and by the way, the naked people from Venus, that's got to be something you're working on, I would bet, over the holidays.
Yes, definitely. I've actually just acquired a very necessary set piece, which will allow me to film the last scenes that I need before I can put that video together. My good friend Jason Matson, who runs the Lewis County Historical Museum in Chehalis, Washington, constructed a flying saucer control panel for me that I will be using in a green room to kind of simulate the inside of the saucer that these nudists from the planet Venus would travel in.
Oh, that's going to be fantastic. I'm assuming you got lights and switches and all sorts of interesting things to look out to see from this spaceship, too.
Oh, absolutely. And it really has this wonderful vintage Star Trek feel to it.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely was going for that. And Jason just perfectly captured what was inside my mind when he put it together.
Well, wonderful. Now, let's give everybody the details of how they can go to find Pacific North Weird, and they can catch up on some of the videos you've already done, including one of the best music videos, paranormal music videos I've ever heard when you wrote the song Biggie Got Foot. That is just a fantastic music video you've got up there, and how can people find those?
Well, they can go to pacificnorthweird.com, and that links directly to our YouTube page. Thank you. Biggie Got Foot is on there, and it's a parody of Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back. It's my love letter to Sasquatch culture. Bobo Fay from the Animal Planet series Finding Bigfoot actually shared the video and said it was the greatest Bigfoot music video ever made.
I would agree with him. Yes, and if Bobo Fay likes it, then that's saying something for sure. Oh, I tell you, you're a great songwriter, man. I mean, it's hard to do parodies and to do them just as good, if not better, than the original. So good job for you doing that.
That means a lot coming from you, because I'm a huge fan of the Ballad of Mel's Hole.
Thanks for that plug. Well, one of these days we're going to have to do a video on the Ballad of Mel's Hole that you'll have to direct, because I think you have some great ideas for that one.
Oh, I would love to do that.
Super. Well, listen, Vince and Zunza, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy holiday schedule from the Weird and Wonderful, and you report every week here on Night Dreams Talk Radio about what's really happening out there. So I appreciate you being here tonight. By the way, Vince, just to let you know, I'm taking next Saturday off. That will be December 22nd. So relax, take it easy, but we'll be back on December 29th, the last Saturday in the year 2018, to do kind of a year-end report, on the strange UFO and paranormal activity that has been surfacing this last entire year. I'm going to have the UFO I-Team on. We'll have Peter Davenport, yourself, and we're just going to have a party for that show.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, and I can definitely think of some year-end Pacific Northward things to share with you.
Yeah, wonderful. All right. Okay, buddy. Well, you take it easy out there, and watch out for those ghosts and goblins coming around the holiday season here, and we will talk to you in a couple weeks.
Sounds great, Michael. Thank you.
Okay. There we go. That's Vincent Zunza, ladies and gentlemen, of Pacific North Weird. And, oh my gosh, the Haunted Pike Place Market. That is going to be an interesting thing to look at when he gets that thing up on a video. Okay, now, let's just, without further ado, get down to the meat of the matter tonight here. And I'm going to introduce to you Chaz Van Heyden, who is really an interesting fellow. He's not only a musician, but he is a researcher par excellence into ancient aliens, the Zachariah Sitchin, information, UFOs and alien abductions. And he's an author, of course, written a lot of books. And I'm just pleased as punch to bring him on right now so we can talk for the remaining of the show about what's going on in Chaz Van Heyden's life. Are you there, Chaz?
Yeah. I've been listening to you and Vince. It's very, very interesting. Actually, I just wanted to ask you to spell his last name.
Yeah.
I'm looking to look him up.
It is the strangest. Now, I think you heard me talking to Vince before the show. Vince is actually of Basque heritage. That's Basque. And the reason I know a little bit about the Basque people from the Pyrenees Mountains in France and Spain is that I was
very hardy people.
Very hardy people, and they have unique DNA and Rh negative blood and all that kind of stuff. I was married to a Basque woman for 30 years myself, a lovely Basque lady, and boy did I've got Basque children. They've got quite a lot of Basque blood in them, so I really respect their culture. And wow. Vince's last name, you will. Whenever you see a person's name that starts and ends in a vowel, and I'll spell it for you, in Zunza, but whenever a last name starts and ends with a vowel, you can pretty much count on it being a Basque surname. But it's in Zunza is spelled Ynzunza. And you would think it would be Inzunza, something like that, but it's not. It's the Y is pronounced kind of like an E, and so it's N-Zunza. Y-Z. No, I'm sorry. Y-N-Z-U-N-Z-A. Yeah. Great guy.
I've got him here. I got him on the screen. Yeah. He's got some good photos here.
Oh, he does. He's quite a character and very photogenic, and the videos that he directs and produces are quite unique. So I'm glad that we got to introduce you to Vince there. But Chaz, let's talk about Chaz Van Heyden here, and let's have you do me a favor. Kind of introduce yourself a little bit. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself, and then I'll start asking the questions, and we'll get into some of the details of your life.
Okay. I'm going to try and kind of steer this towards the things that we talked about with Gary Anderson, because there's so many things we talked about that could be repeated that I'm sure most of our listeners don't remember a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
But I'm going to add one or two spicy things right off the bat. But I've been an author for 11 years. I have written a number of science fiction stories, and I collected a bunch of them into a trilogy, which I'll speak of in a few minutes. But I've always been interested in the paranormal, sci-fi, UFO, that kind of world, since my grandmother mentioned many, many years ago that she had gone to a place called Red Rock, or Big Rock, in, I believe, California, because that's where we were living, and that's where I was born at the time.
Yeah.
At a UFO meeting. It's like in the 50s. And this, of course, was in the height of the sensationalism that was going forward. And when the movie was made called When the Earth Stood Still in 52, I think it was, with that guy, Rene, whatever his name was, the tall fellow, he played the being that came out of this flying saucer on the Washington Monument steps, blah, 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 blah.
Michael Rennie. Yeah,
Michael Rennie, right. Yeah, very, very, very well done film, by the way. Very, very tightly controlled. It didn't get hysterical. It didn't go nuts for the people that watched it. I think it was black and white. I believe it was black and white.
Yeah, it was. So let me stop you right here. You're saying to me that your grandmother actually probably knew George Van Tassel and went out to Big Rock, California during their classic UFO meetings out there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's the way I got it. You know, all these years later,